Did you do the tour before, the American tour, before Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
It was amazing.
It was quite intense. No, I've only been to Florida before, so that was my first time in the rest of America. But we were quite unlucky with delays and we got a snowstorm in New York. That was crazy.
It was crazy.
It was quite a wild introduction to America.
It was very exciting.
Yeah.
Also because the repertoire was challenging.
Okay.
And also that alone was required quite a lot of concentration. Yeah. And then on top of that, the travel. But actually it was so nice because everyone was in the atmosphere of the orchestra is really positive. Yeah. So everyone was sort of just the morale was really high. Yeah. It kind of got us through it.
Yeah, because it was so crazy.
When I go abroad, I panic that my bag doesn't turn up. I guess.
That happens all the time.
Is she with instruments?
Yeah. Well, actually, never instruments because the truck always arrives. Yeah. Basically, because the instruments are all together on the truck. Right. But then it's personal luggage. There's usually someone. Yeah. And it was Matt G in Japan, I think, the principal trombone. His luggage didn't turn up. And
there was a double bass player. We'd all been, because of the flight cancellations, we'd been split into different groups. Right. And then the group that I was in, there was sort of maybe 9 of us. You weren't in it. And then he, after all of the travel problems, then his suitcase didn't turn up. Yeah. And we were all oh,
that was really sad.
Everyone was trying to have the most positive, and it was the second time his suitcase hadn't turned up. Yeah. He just got unlucky 2 times.
So it happened to me a couple of years ago, and I got to Geneva and no bag. And so I don't have many followers on Facebook, but I put a message on Facebook saying, does anyone know anyone who works at EasyJet? Right. And if they do, can you put me in touch? And if they find my bag, I'll give them a free print.
Oh.
And someone saw this Facebook
Oh my God, that's very generous.
Put me in touch with one of their mates who worked at EasyJet. And I said, listen, there's the prints page on my website. One of those is yours. If you could track down my bag.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The bag pitched out.
No way.
At the hotel.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
That's a good way to just bribe them to get your luggage back.
Well, that happened on one of our really cancelled flights. That one of the flute players, Jo Marsh, she was talking, because she's just so lovely, and she was talking to some of the flight attendants and people that work for the airline. And one of them, she was going to maybe try and get them a ticket for the concert the next day. I don't know if he actually did. He come?
Yeah, because I think he was going to be on the flight, so he would be there. Yeah. I don't know if he did actually come, but it was. She got very pally. Yeah, she's good at that. We
were definitely considering seeing if he could come to the concert, which was really cool.
Yeah,
really funny.
So you guys sort of, do you buddy up with rooms and things, or do you how does it work on tours?
You always get your own room. That's actually something I remember talking to someone, the transition from youth orchestra, a lot of things like that, when everything's expected to pair up.
Yeah.
And then now it's a given that we all get our own rooms. Yeah. And actually I sort of take that for granted now, only in that I think I almost imagined at some point in my life that if you go on tour, obviously you're going to be just it's so expensive, of course you're going to share rooms.
Yeah.
But I'm very glad we get our own rooms, and it should stay that way. But I'm pretty sure there was something where an orchestra from the UK was booked to do some tour, and they were expected to share rooms, and the RPO was sorry, we're not gonna do that.
No.
So it's good that we get our own.
I had to do that once. I was in Germany before, being in London, and when my orchestra did a tour to Vienna, and we had to share rooms, and I remember that was just so exhausting.
Yeah.
Also, it's really nice because I look at the...
Stay up all night chatting.
Didn't
get any sleep.
But then when you look at the tour schedule, it's always double room as well.
Yeah.
Which is very nice.
In America, we were mad into the Traitors. Right. So it was just coming to the end of the finale. And we did our own Traitors within the orchestra, which was brilliant, which is basically Joe Fisher organised that. So give him credit. And that was very stressful, but very, very fun. And then we had a finale watch party, when it actually came out, and we booked a conference room in our hotel, and we had 40 people in a room. It was so fun. Yeah. That was a really good time. Yeah, I loved that.
And it got strangely way more intense than I ever imagined.
Yeah, it was really dramatic.
Yeah, Zoe and I were in the final, and we just
as innocents,
as faithfuls.
We were both faithfuls, and we only agreed that we would, because the whole time, because me and Ruby are friends, we were no, but really, are you? No, because you really can't be, because I'll cry if you are. It was getting really intense, and then at the end we were
we were swearing on big things.
Yeah, we were going yeah. We're making huge oaths to be like, I swear I am. And we're finally like, okay, we can trust each other. And we think we've taken it too far then.
I think in the end we were like, our friendship's relying on the fact that you're telling the truth.
Yeah, we were like, actually, if one of us is admit, we might not be able to speak to each other after this.
Yeah.
So it was a good job we were both faithful. It would have been awful to have to get through that, actually, if one of us had been a traitor.
I know, yeah.
It would have been horrific.
I think I would have not been able to do it. I think we would have known.
Yeah, I would have come in a little twitch and you would have been like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
same.
a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why the people that are good at it, they can just see past that, and they can see past any
You
kind
can
of
just see, no, I'm going to win.
yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah, it was really fun though, because then it was a good way, obviously, because in orchestras there's always people that aren't members are on the tours and stuff.
To know people.
Yeah,
Get to
we
know
had a bunch of
people.
extras doing it. It was really nice.
Yeah, and it includes other people, and yeah, so you sort of everyone feels really integrated.
Apart from one of our amazing extras, Amy Yule, who was on principal flute, she was chosen to be a traitor, so she had to lie to all these people she barely knew for like a week and a half straight.
That's hard.
Yeah,
And she was so stressed.
Yeah.
By the end of it, she was like completely broken down, but she did win.
yeah,
so,
she won it in the end, so,
so good for her.
it
She
was
did a great
worth
job.
it. Yeah, that was quite funny actually. That it was a perfect way of her sort of.
So
getting
what
to know
other
people.
icebreakers do they give you? Parties and
Not like that many, to be
No?
fair.
is there a good Christmas
No.
party or anything?
There isn't actually. I think kind of
No, there's not, is there?
no. But I
No.
think with RPO, because it's a touring orchestra,
Right.
the icebreaker is just going on any tour with the
Right.
orchestra, because you're just spending so much time with each
Yeah.
other.
To be fair, there are often, like, on some tours we have end of tour, like rap parties. We did that in Japan.
That sounds really fun.
When we went with Joe Saishi, and he threw like a big party for everyone. So I think it kind of depends on who we're with,
Right.
and if the conductor or like whoever's responsible for the tour, if they decide to put on a big thing. But I think it's nice when we do that, because the orchestra does actually like to hang out together.
Yeah,
Some people pretend they don't all want to hang out in a big group. Actually, everyone does.
it is so
enjoy
nice.
So is there a social structure with people who play various instruments? Are there sort of, I don't know, the trombonists, the social leaders or anything like that?
Definitely, I think it's more like families stay together, don't they? Often,
Yeah,
like
Families, I think,
everyone's friendly to each other, but like
Windle.
yeah,
Yeah.
different like groups tend
Right.
to like form quite naturally, and I think you see that in every orchestra, which is really
yeah. I think often sort of like woodwinds and brass hang out a lot together.
So you have little family cliques.
funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be quite funny.
But I think that's kind of normal, isn't it? Because make friends with the people that you sit near, because you're just naturally
Yeah.
going to be talking to them the most.
So who's the wildest family at the moment?
There's not really much drama.
I think
think.
it's a really nice spread, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's pretty chill. It's very like I've always been quite impressed with that even though there are kind of quite strong like groups of friends and like a couple of like almost like cliques, but there's no real actual drama, which is really nice.
It is really nice, yeah.
So do you play other instruments other than horn and bassoon?
Yeah.
I used to play the clarinet until I was 18, and then when I was applying to music college, I had to decide between applying for bassoon or for clarinet.
Right.
Then my clarinet teacher, I probably wasn't very good at the clarinet, and he was like, I think you should do bassoon, I think it suits you better.
Could you have learned bassoon from the outset? Did you have to progress?
No, I could have just learned it irrespective of the clarinet. But I just sort of I think I started with the clarinet because it was offered to me
Yeah.
at my music service.
Yeah.
And then I sort of showed an aptitude for it. And then they thought, okay,
Yeah.
now we have a bassoon that no one's playing. Do you want to play that? And I thought, okay, fine. I just played it.
That's brilliant.
Where are you with the horn?
Well, I started on sort of piano because my parents are musicians, so they sort of taught me piano. And then I started playing the euphonium, or actually a mini euphonium, when I was like
euphonium?
6. It's like a mini tuba.
Okay.
I don't know why I decided. I was like, I love this picture of me as this tiny little person playing a gigantic instrument. I was like, but I wanted to play the tuba. I didn't want to play the euphonium. I
Right.
wanted like an actual tuba.
Yeah.
And so they gave me a mini euphonium, and I was really disappointed. So I was like, this is tiny. I can pick this up.
Yeah. Come on,
Like,
guys.
what the point? I wanted like
What's
the thing
going
as
on?
big as me. And then my brother started playing the trombone, so I copied him because I was his little sister, of course. So I started playing the trombone, and then my trombone teacher said I should have a go at the French horn, so I started playing the French horn. So I sort of had a little go at all of them. But yeah, I feel like I've done lots of like random secondary instrument playing, but none of them proficiently. I can still play a bit of piano, but really not much.
So if we stick to your instruments, and I mean I know nothing about music, so I'm going to ask really stupid questions.
Okay.
But with my work, and let's introduce with colour. So with a painting, warm colours gradually come forward, and cool colours recede.
Yeah.
So with a painting, we're trying to create depth. the warm colours come forward and the cold colours come back.
Right.
So is there a similar concept with the sounds of your instrument? If you're trying to fill a room with music, does some sound maybe go up and backwards and round? Does some come straight forward? Can a conductor create that sort of sense of 3D and depth?
I think I often think about colours in terms of sound production as well. So if I play second bassoon, which is inherently like low, and I often play the bass line.
Right.
And then when I'm playing a low bass line, I'm thinking of, okay, I want to have a warm airflow and I want to create a warm sound, warm colours, so that then it's easier for the other wind instruments to play melodies on top of that.
Right.
So then I think sound and colour I think of that in terms of, airflow, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
That's a cool way to put it. I like that.
How about with the horn?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of I guess it's like, I mean, very basically, it's just like a spread of pitch, isn't it? If you're all clustered together, it's very. But then I don't know. I think it almost depends on the instrument, doesn't it? Sometimes how many you've got, like, because we always have 4/5 most of the time in an orchestra. So I feel like the horns, when they are on their own, even can create a very like full sound. Like we can fill a room.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the nature of the instrument in a way. It is quite
victorious sound.
Yeah,
Is that right?
but it can be very, very mellow. It depends what you're going for. I feel like we can do quite a big spectrum, which I always enjoy. Like we get relied on to do like the very, very gentle, romantic, soft moments, but then the really like victorious, fanfares. Yeah. We kind of get to do. We're sort of essential in both pockets. I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
Depending on the composer, of course, but like a lot of them do tend to like a lot of like Rachmaninoff and stuff like that. It's always like we've got to use the horns for all of those things because we can do both sides.
And I think it's also like important of knowing, especially in wind and brass playing, when am I a colour and a texture? So when do I want to blend with the other instruments, and then when do I want to come out? So if I've got an interesting melody, then nice. Maybe I'll change the sound, colour.
Do you have free rein to do that?
I think, you do, yeah. I mean, that's the point of, being a musician, you have to learn how to do that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because in a way, if the conductor had to tell us every phrase, like in every bar, like who's actually the most important voice, you'd just never get anything done. It would take too long.
Exactly, yeah.
And we have to get everything together so quickly that actually, that's kind of a big part of our job, actually, isn't it? Knowing when it's like exactly when you are accompanying.
So
exactly.
It's your time to come out.
You can alter the shade.
You can.
100%. Yeah.
Looking at it.
Yeah, definitely.
And
that's definitely like the musician's responsibility, isn't it?
To your team, your family, saying we're going to do this particular one in the sort of lower shade, higher shade.
I think that's kind of like instinctive, isn't it, actually?
It's instinctive.
Or like you would pick up on what was going on and match it, would you say?
Yeah, you would match it. And also I think because with wind and brass playing, you're the only person playing your part, you kind of have an independence of deciding, okay, I'm the only one with, I don't know, the tonic or the dominant, so I want to bring that out. Whereas I wonder if with strings it's more of a collective decision.
Yeah, and they might get more things passed down from the front.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
often see that more often. They kind of filter back their information, whereas we tend to just kind of, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm doing some work in Rome at the moment, and it's a big 500th anniversary of the Swiss Guard, who guard the Pope.
Yeah.
And that's next year, and they're getting Hans Zimmer to do a soundtrack for this particular anniversary.
No way.
The pictures for.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
So I've been listening to quite a lot of Gladiator, which is really naff. But it's all horns.
Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, yeah, it's all horns, yeah. Hans Zimmer just only uses horns, basically, yeah. I mean, because even now when he does his sessions, he rarely uses trumpets. He uses, 9 horns, 6 trombones, 6 tenor trombones, 6 bass trombones sometimes, 4 tubas. He just keeps going with the low brass. And then he'll have, 2 trumpets just in case he needs them. But, rarely, yeah. So he wants the low sound.
Well, we did this... RPO did a performance of Interstellar, so we were playing alongside the film, and there were no trumpets in that. But then there were so many horns, and the writing for the brass is very sparse, but in a way it's thickly textured as well.
Yeah.
So none of us would play for 10 minutes, and all of a sudden the brass would come in with these really heavy chords that sounded amazing.
Yeah, and a lot of his stuff as well is very it's so purpose built for the film. That what's really tough is when you do take it out of context. Because when I think we did a whole Hans Zimmer programme, we did Gladiator as part of it, and he was there on the day. And as we kind of walked off, he apologised. He was sorry guys, it really wasn't made to be played with just 5 of you. It's almost like you probably needed 12 and you would have been comfy on stage.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think he just knows it's in the studio, obviously he can get as many people as he wants and he can just get it looped and layered and all that kind of stuff. But on stage, it's there's only 5 of us trying to make that we just have to keep playing louder, louder, louder.
So are there any composers who favour the bassoon?
Oh,
When do you come into your limelight?
I think Sibelius's
Right.
compositions for bassoon are just amazing. Not
Okay.
for bassoon, but anything by Sibelius. He always writes really lovely bassoon lines.
Okay.
Some composers will write some bassoon lines that are really tricky, or it's in an awkward key, so it's really, technical to play.
Yeah.
But I think Sibelius just writes these gorgeous, really warm bassoon sounds, and
Interesting.
they're really enjoyable to play. Like in our America tour, we did Sibelius too.
Okay, cool.
And it's a lovely part for bassoons because, it's just written in this really sort of deep, sort of resonant,
Yeah, nice.
bit of the bassoon, and it's really fun to play. So I think Sibelius probably.
So another concept which I'll paint with is texture. And so can you add texture to music?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of...
I mean, is that
Articulation,
layering,
isn't
or
it?
is that contour, or is that a different
Texture is kind of one of those things that you could almost say it's almost too broad of a term, isn't it, for music? I remember when we had to do academic music at school, for example, there was always like a category, like texture.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And it'd always be like how many voices are playing to start with, and then are they doing different things? Are they doing the same thing? How far apart are they spread in terms of like pitch?
Yeah.
Because like a thick texture just basically is usually just the more players, the thicker the texture.
Okay, yeah.
But then it's like note length, and if there's short note length, then it's a lighter texture. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's all kind of it's almost using like language to oversimplify something that actually, if you heard it, it's quite intuitive to be like, oh, that's a lighter texture, or that's a heavier texture, and it's just trying to articulate why exactly that is. I always find that really silly about academic music. It's just...
Yeah, it's not so black and white.
It feels like
complex.
looking at... I mean, it would feel like looking at a painting and just describing exactly what's happening in the painting. It's like, but I'm looking at the painting.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, and also I think it depends on the register that something's composed in, So, for example, with bassoon, if something's maybe composed for a slightly higher register of the bassoon, the texture might be a little bit thinner because it's not as resonant as something really low down, which would be warmer. If you're referring to it in colours as well, it would be like a warmer colour,
Yeah.
And then sort of probably the higher up you go, because it would be more projecting.
Yeah.
Then it would be maybe a cooler colour or something like that.
Yeah,
And
it's like the higher,
we
the
as
brighter.
painters can also mess around with transparency, and so a colour can be transparent, or you can move the dial up and it can become more opaque and more dense. So is that a similar thing you can do with your sounds?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, I feel like strings have a better mastery of that than we do. There's a certain amount we can do, but I always find when brass and things like that get asked to play more thin, that's always one of those things I find really difficult. And if I ever ask a student to do that, I'm always like, can you? Can you try? It almost feels like something you do more in your mind rather than...
So how do you play a note more thin?
That's exactly... I don't know.
You could do it.
I feel like I could try and it might work, but I couldn't necessarily tell you what I'm doing. Whereas strings, it's so much more specific, isn't it? It's like they have all these different bow techniques to literally just thin out the sound, and you can hear it just go from like full to... Whereas I feel like the difference for me is like I tend to just then go from loud to quiet, but that's not really the point, is it? It's meant to be this thinning out.
I think it's
Can be quite
intuitive,
tricky.
like we were saying. It's just you can't necessarily articulate exactly why,
Yeah.
but you just do it and you know how to do it.
Yeah.
But I think also because with wind and brass, because we're actually playing it and so much, it's controlled by our airflow.
Is there quite a lot of bedfellowship between your two families, wind and brass, or not?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. I mean, probably more between... French ones are kind of in the middle ground. We often get grouped into the winds, but we're
Yeah.
actually sort of more brass than...
And I think bassoons can also be often playing with brass, but also sometimes with woodwind. So they're both of them are very versatile.
sociable.
They're quite sociable.
Yeah.
Very friendly.
I
very
think
friendly.
especially like bassoons and horns always we always want to be sat close together.
Yeah.
Because that's always the annoying thing is often we get split up and the horns get relegated to the
Yeah.
farther stage right, and it's actually like, no, we want to be near the bassoons.
Yeah.
It's much nicer for us.
So with your instruments at the moment, they're obviously special to you. Are they? You hear about these violins which are 2,000 years old and worth a fortune. Is it the same thing with horns and bassoons? Has yours got a history? Has it got a provenance? Paintings can have different owners and go for that. Is that the same with instruments?
So with bassoon, obviously bassoons can be extremely expensive, and there's no maximum to the price that you can pay for one. My bassoon's from 1981, so it's like a slightly older instrument. It's personal preference. Some people prefer newer instruments, some people prefer older ones.
So how did it find you, or how did you find it?
Well, I studied at Guildhall for my undergrad, and I didn't own a bassoon when I started there. And I was very lucky to be given one by the school to play while I was studying there. But then when I finished, I always knew I'd have to buy one.
Right.
And then I got into my third year, and my teacher started saying you need to really look to buy
It's
one.
not like a Tinder for musical instruments.
No, unfortunately not. And then my old teacher, he called me and said that he was in Haworth, which is a woodwind shop in London, and they'd just come across this instrument, and it was within my price range. And I called up the head of music at Guildhall and I asked if I could get all my scholarship sort of given to me at once, so that I could afford this instrument.
Oh my God,
I
that's
was
amazing.
really lucky, and it was allowed.
Wow.
So then I could just go and buy this instrument. It's this instrument I still play today. So it was sort of luck.
Do you alter it to you? Do you make any tweaks?
I mean, I added some keys to it, but that was just because it
Right.
wasn't, the best bassoon in the world. But actually, I love it so much, and I feel like now I would never be able to sell it because it got me the job here.
Like cars, do you
Aw.
give instruments a name?
I don't. I've never managed
some
to.
people?
I don't. Yeah, definitely some. But I know a lot of people did that.
Yeah,
But no, I couldn't. I feel like it's like I almost don't want to personify it too much.
yeah.
I don't want it to become this living thing that's like separate from me, because then I'll start sort of blaming it when things go wrong. Like, well, wow, Susie's being really good today. It's like,
Simon, what are you doing?
yeah, exactly. No, I want to keep it an
So how
individual
did you
piece.
find your horn?
Actually, yeah. I mean, it's funny with horns. They can age sort of gracefully, but I think brass instruments they can be tricky because just wear and tear can affect them a lot, and you can sort of only patch them up so much, and eventually it's kind of one of those things that you can replace every single bit. So it's like at some point you've almost recycled your instrument after a certain number of years. I mean, mine is still in the same condition, I think, as when it was first made. Well, not the same condition. It's the same parts. It's definitely in worse condition. I've not taken very good care of it. But it was a second-hand horn. But when I bought it, it was actually my first teacher when he said, right, I think you can get your own horn now, because I was sort of had been borrowing a school's instrument and then had a kind of student horn, which are quite cheap. And then he said, okay, we're going to get you Paxman 20M, which was the horn that he always recommends to his
What does
students.
20M mean?
It's the model. It's just the model. Yeah, it's like 20. I don't know what 20 actually stands for, but I think M is medium for medium bore.
Okay.
But if that's wrong, don't leave it in the video. I need to check that. So he went to Luke Woodhead, who is Woodhead and Woodhead are a really good couple. They sell and now make horns as well, but they sold secondhand horns and they're repair people at the time. So he went to try out my horn and then brought it back to me basically and said, this is the one, you should have this one. I went, okay, because I was about 15 and it didn't really bother me what I was, just as long as it was decent. And
Did you notice the difference between a school horn and this horn?
yeah, I think so. I'm trying to remember now. I mean, I definitely felt like everything became a bit easier.
Right.
It's one of those cruel things that, especially for the French horn, students have to learn on, obviously not professional instruments, because that would be mad to ask a parent to buy a professional instrument for their child.
Yeah.
But they're really hard to play, and then you have to battle through with this quite difficult instrument, which is made slightly harder by not being a great instrument, and then you eventually get a really good one and everything becomes so much easier. So I always feel it feels really harsh that's the way it goes. It's like, okay, you've done all that hard work, now everything's just going to be easy, so you didn't need to do just anyway. Obviously, it's not quite like that, but
I mean, Paul McCartney, in an interview yesterday, he said that each guitar teaches him something new.
oh, interesting.
Do you get that?
I've never changed my horn,
Right.
and I hope to never change my horn. So in a way, I think that probably would be true.
Yeah.
But I think it can be a very scary thing to switch an instrument, because it's like, it's so much work you do yourself. Don't you? And you go, this is my responsibility to change how I play.
Yeah.
But then if you get a different instrument, you go, okay, well that's made this easier, but it's made this harder.
Yeah.
Do you then go, that's just because now it's just on the instrument,
Yeah.
and you stop looking at your own techniques and stuff as much.
And I think especially with bassoons, they're such quirky instruments. You get so used to knowing, okay, which notes are inherently flat on my instrument, which notes are inherently a little bit sharper. So you get so comfortable and know them so well.
Like a worn-in shoe.
But then some people just say that you will sound like you no matter what you play.
Yeah, which I think is probably true.
Yeah.
But we just hear it to such detail, don't we, in our own heads. We're always our worst critic.
Yeah.
So we notice the slight things that don't feel right. It's like, oh, no, I want the old one back.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm terrified of the day that this horn gives up. It's going to be an awful thing. Awful thing.
So I also hope mine doesn't, yeah.
Yeah.
And so last question, outside of the orchestral sort of atmosphere, what sort of music do you listen to?
I like sort of acoustic-y music,
Okay.
like Paolo Nutini and stuff like that. I really like that. Like relaxing music that I can just have on the background.
Yeah.
It's not too intense.
I'm a big Lizzie McAlpine fan at the moment. anything in that kind of genre, I suppose, kind of alternative pop. I don't know what kind of, but I am quite a pop girly as well. I do like a bit of Sabrina Carpenter. Anything?
Sabrina, yeah.
Oh yeah, like I like a good beat, and you know. But I have one of those playlists where I have like one song by a different artist every time, which is really chaotic to look at. But
I love that.
People say, "Oh, who's this by?" And I'm like, don't know. It's just this song I know.
Just like this song.
Yeah.
If you're learning a new piece, will you have that in your ear and listening to it over and over again?
I will. If
We just listen through once, twice.
You're on the tube. You won't listen to the sort of that particular scenes around what's the.
If we're playing a piece that I haven't played before, I will always have listened to it before the first rehearsal. Like something I always do. Yeah. And often I like to sort of they do score videos on YouTube where you can listen to the music and then look at the score. I find that really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, not too much actually. I feel like I used to do that a lot, but then I think, obviously, even after a couple of years in the same place, you get to know so much repertoire that actually you start trusting your instincts a lot more.
Yeah.
And you don't always want to kind of over prepare in the same way, but also a lot of the time you already know the rep.
Yeah.
Like especially when we do tours and stuff. Like I'll never need to listen to Spaylist 2 again because we've done it so much. I'm like, it'll be in my head forever.
Exactly.
Like I'll know how it goes.
Yeah.
So I'd never need to like relearn it. It'll always be there for me, waiting.
And I always find when I'm listening to something, I can often, get stressed and think, oh, this might be really tricky in rehearsals. But then when you're with someone like Vasily, it's so much easier because he's so clear and it's,
So the conductor makes a big difference?
a huge difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you're trying to play along with the recording, it's so difficult. And then
So
in
hard.
person, obviously, it's like you've got the visual. So
Because to the
much easier.
untrained eye like me in the audience, it looks like a man in front of you just waving his arms around.
trying to put us off.
But he is actually bringing out the best in you. And
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, totally.
We played Taranga Lila about a few weeks ago, and something like that is so complex for the orchestra to play in terms of like rhythm and timing.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a conductor in front of you who's completely on it and knows exactly when the next beat's coming, then it can be an absolute car crash, basically.
And it's like knowing who has the final say, isn't it? It's like, 'cause if it was all of us just hoping for the best, if one person made a mistake, or even if they were right and everyone else somehow made mistakes, like you need that one person to be like, no, this is the answer. Like, no more arguing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that's good. I'll tell him. He's useful. You can keep the job.
Yeah, definitely.